What is going on, everybody?
Hello.
What is happening out there?
I didn't
Er,
blow away.
You didn't blow away, huh? How come?
I tethered myself to the house.
You tethered yourself to the house. All right. OG Sin 13 just started following. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. All my dear white people. We have any people of color in here? I just thought I'd be a little facetious here and say, dear white people. We are going to have a show tonight about white and black things, and maybe even some colors. We might throw some other stuff in. You just never know. Isn't it sweet, dear white people? I feel so special. Ah, racist
I just
bigots.
want to know. I mean, is anyone truly white anymore? I mean, honest
Well,
question. I feel like we're all like little mixes of everything.
Heinz 57.
Yeah.
I'm a Heinz 57. That's me. All right. Enough of being a
Monkey's
smart.
orange.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at it. Yeah, just look at him. Look at him. Would you look at that? Just look at that.
I
Yeah,
feel
I'm
like
studying
Cinder
here. I
Brown.
want to watch the chat, and I got my an iPad setting here because it's just too hard on the phone. So, and lo and behold, I open up this thing and it's doing a download, so it's doing an update. So I have to wait. Joe, you're a Caucasian Christian, huh? All right. I you feel offended. You were brown. Yeah, well, I'm tainted because I'm tinted. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm tainted because I'm tinted. I don't know. My dad did something. Or maybe it was his parents. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that when they crossed the border in the 20s, the early 20s, that they hooked up with some white chick. My grandfather did, and lo and behold, my papa was born, and then I was born. So my dad was a half. So I guess I'm a quarter. I don't know. But anyway,
Oh, he met like
17
a Starbucks
George.
barista, like the like Luigi, and pulled his mask down and said, "Hey, how you doing?"
Pretty much, pretty much, pretty much, pretty much. All right, so I got to tell you, I was sitting around the other day, and it's pretty. I mean, we're not. I'm not patting myself on the back by any means, but it is kind of nice when you have the five on or a few other shows that I listen to throughout the day to get the political, climate and temperature and all that. And then I listen to Dan Bongino, as everyone already knows, and I hear them talking about stuff that we talked about already in the last show, which was super, super cool to do. And don't mind me, I'm going to sit here and try to log into myself on Rumble. And I want to be able to follow the chat. Oh, look, there's me, and I'm talking. That is so cool. All right. And I'm under the right account, apparently. So bear
While
with me
Lou's
here.
logging in over there, everyone smash that like button, please.
Yes.
Give us a share. Even though you shared it, just share her again.
All right, let's get into enter the full screen, which I did. Let's see if it'll let me
Hey,
go into the
Tammy.
chat. There's the live chat.
Hey,
Yeah,
Terry
yeah.
over on X. How are ya?
Okay. All right. I am in here, so if something comes up, maybe I can take a peek over there. What's going on, Terry? Ooh, it's been a busy day. Busy day. Terry's been actually busy too. She's been pushing out some stuff on X, some breaking news as she always does. So if you haven't followed her yet, please do so. But anyway, back to what I was saying.
Thank you,
We
Terry.
we've seen a lot of stuff here in the past day or two on shows that we've already covered. And I don't know if anyone's really picked up on this, but we're gonna talk a little bit about this before we get into the main, the beef and potatoes of the show. But this whole UFO thing that we had already discussed on two previous shows, it's like it's totally broken out now. Like it's released from jail and everyone's talking about it. And now all of a sudden it's a big deal. They're having hearings up in Washington on it. And ironically, today, Phil Murphy, the governor of New Jersey, Democrat, by the way, he wasn't even at the meetings or the hearings. So I don't know what that was all about. But someone had made the comment that the only excuse he should have would be as if he was on the phone with the president or President Trump. But I would assume Biden at this point still, unfortunately, to be discussing what might be going on. And again, there's a lot of stuff going on, and people are starting to finally talk about it. I've kind of shared what I thought some of the UFOs were in the past when we see these things streaking across the sky, per se, closer to the realm of space. I've been very open about it, and I don't feel shamed by it. I think that they could be demons and they could be angels. Um, and it's just something that it very possibly, well, could be. And I don't know. I just don't know. But what we're seeing now is totally different, because what we're seeing now, they're like SUV size. Some of them are, again, the size of a full size SUV vehicle. Some are boat size. Some are like miniature plane, but like big plane, like a Cessna type thing. And they have lights. And I was listening to Dan Bongino, and for anyone else who listened to him today for his show, he opened up with this. And he was talking about everything that's going on with that. And he's like, what in the hell is going on over New Jersey? Well, it's not just New Jersey. It goes all the way into Philadelphia and New York and surrounding areas, all up and down the coast for the most part. Terry, he may have been denied due to security clearance. Yeah, that's a good point, Terry. Thank you so much. But if he wasn't, there's no excuses for him not to be there. So let's hope that's what it was. But something's still not adding up here. And back to what Dan was thinking. Dan was thinking that he thinks it's a foreign adversary. He thinks it's either China or he thinks that it's Iran or someone like that. Now, ironically enough, today I made the comment to my wife. I said, I really don't think it's a foreign adversary, because they're not hiding it, which that doesn't really prove anything, nowadays. But they're flashing these lights and doing all these crazy things, and they're very visible. It's like they're not hiding anything whatsoever. So I kind of disagree with Dan. I wouldn't even say I disagree with Dan. I just have a different view right now, because I could be totally off base. Dan could be right. I could be right. We just don't know. It's pure speculation now. But what I don't buy, unless there's just pure incompetence in our government, which we know there can be from the last 4 years, obviously, that maybe our government is just that incompetent. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they've let this go on for so long that it could be somebody, because they're talking about gaps in our airspace. And whoever this is, that they're in these areas which we would consider gaps in our airspace, which tells us that they know more than we know about our own, systems. I still believe it's, I think it's military. I think it's top secret, CIA, whatever you want to call it. I think someone knows. And I think it's a very few people that actually know what's going on, and they can't talk about it. That's what I think. And I think that they're out doing maneuvers. I think they're playing around. And I think they're testing a lot of these systems and devices just to see what they can do. Now, keep in mind, some great points were brought up on Fox News. I think Dana Perino brought it up, and someone on the 5. But we have these huge things up in the sky, and sometimes they're over houses. They're over cities, towns, whatever. And as big as they are, they might have some kind of fuel in them. We don't know. We don't know if they're battery operated or not. So there could be an explosion. If it ever comes down, there's talk of shooting some of these things down. Well, what if they do shoot one down? What's going to happen when it comes down to the ground?
What's in it?
Not the best thing, unless they can, get them out over the water and take care of business. What if they have chemical or biological stuff in them? What are we going to do? I mean, if these are truly foreign adversaries, they could have something like that in there. They could release a toxin. There's reports out there that they're hovering and floating around the reservoirs in the New Jersey area. That's a water supply. Again, we don't know. I'm not trying to do fear mongering because I truly don't know, but these are things we have to think about
Well,
because if no one has the answers, what are we going to do?
isn't that where the fear of the unknown has come from? You have to fear the unknown. Otherwise, you're not going to go in cautious. That's why
Yeah.
babies have no fear because they don't know what can happen.
Yeah. You gotta fear, or at least think about that kind of stuff. And it doesn't help because we don't trust our government. No matter what they do, we don't trust them. And for good reason, because they haven't given us any reason to trust them because they have burned us at every turn. It happens all the time. And we all know that, yeah, it's a joke. If the government comes knocking and they say they're here to help, turn them away because everything they touch turns to, you know
Hope.
what, you got it. So we don't want the government getting involved, but yet I do believe that this is the government. And if it is a foreign adversary, we're in trouble because if you remember the clips that I played from that guy, the sandbox on YouTube, and kudos to him because he put all that together and put it out there and we played it. But if you remember all of that stuff that was happening out west, this has been going on for well over a year, and now it's just coming to a head. It's like, why has it taken so long? It's not like they didn't know about it. With our government, it could be anyone doing anything. Yeah, and that was another great point, Terry. That I'm thinking, could it be someone who crossed our border? I've mentioned this before. Could they be in here gathering information, sending it back,
Oh,
to their home country of
I
Iran or
think that's a
whatever?
given.
It could be. We just had somebody come out today. I don't know if I got the clip or not. I think I do. Matter of fact, I'm looking at it. But we got a clip today that's saying that there could have been a mothership off the East Coast from Iran that these drones were going back to. But then the State Department or whoever it was today came out and said, well, there never was a mothership. So who do we believe? We just don't know. But the one thing I will say is as long as things are flying up and we're being told that we don't know what they are, we can't keep doing this. We have to stop this. So what was that question you just had up or statement?
I'm
The,
George.
gov- the government has lost more trust over the last 16 years than they had in the previous 40. I would say they lost a buttload since 2020 because of COVID. It really hit rock bottom there and it hasn't recovered, nor will it recover. The medical industry has went downhill. The service industry has went downhill. Any federal government agency, all the trust is out the window. Um, the government is like a fart in a windstorm right now. Let's be honest. That's exactly what it is. So, all right. I'm going to play something here that's going to go into what we've been talking about. This here is, I kind of downloaded these here at the last minute, but I want you to listen. This was out over Oregon. And these are airline pilots talking to the control tower. And these are unidentified flying objects, lights and whatnot over Oregon. And just listen to this. And then we got a few more clips we want to play and show you what's going on over New Jersey and other places that we didn't even have these clips on the last show when we did this. So check this out.
Is there any military activity out straight ahead of us?
No, we're not seeing anything. I had another one report at like 30,000 feet in the Eugene area. We're not sure what it is.
Yeah, there's lots moving out there.
1596, yeah, they're looking into it.
We're seeing 3 or 4 targets. They're all altitudes, up and down. It's pretty crazy. There was some at 30 probably. But, they're shooting way up. We'd say maybe up to the 50s, it looks like. Is there traffic actually out about our 2 to 3 o'clock, about, 20, 30 miles?
No, is that the 4 different lights going up and down? I'm getting a few reports, but you're seeing it right in front of you now too as well?
It's 2 to 3 o'clock off, that 2 to 3 o'clock from our position. Looks about 20 miles going in circles.
Medevac 1 Lima Foxtrot, yeah, we're not seeing anything, getting lots of different reports out there, some at 30, some all the way up to 50,000, about 3 or 4 different lights. Does it look like they're around your altitude now?
No, there's one way up high and one about my altitude, moving in like a circle, like a corkscrew pattern. All right, I'm visually have eyes on what looks like an aircraft strobe that's at my 2 o'clock and 22 miles at my altitude, and I'm actually showing him on TCAS. Do you see that one?
And about 1 Lima Foxtrot, I do not.
He looks like he's moving towards, it looks like it's moving towards the north. Like I said, 22 and a half miles off my right wing. Just had another one show up about my 1 o'clock, about 1,000 feet high, zipping towards us and then back out towards the ocean. It's red in color, moving at extreme speeds. I don't even know how to describe how fast he's moving. 661 Lima Fox.
Medical Lima Foxtrot, Roger. You are cleared to maneuver as necessary, left and right, to avoid the UFO out there.
It's weird. It's a red circular shape, and it keeps zipping out towards the ocean and then coming back in about, 20 miles or closer to us, and then it zips back out of the ocean and we can't see it.
Okay. So that's interesting. Why? It's interesting to me because if you listen to what they said at the very end, and by the way, you can go find these. There's hundreds of these out there on X and other places, YouTube. You can go wherever, CommieTube, and find them. And you're going to see different ones. But the thing that I caught at the end, and I hear a lot about, is that they talk about these lights and that they're moving. And you notice that they can tell distance, and it's like 20 miles out. They come in and they go back out over the ocean. Again, we're talking about the West Coast here. And but they never get real close to these commercial airliners is my whole point, which tells me that they know something. I think if it was a being from outer space or anything else, I don't think they're going to keep their distance because I don't think that they would be afraid of us. Now, I'm just speculating here. I'm just trying to do some critical thinking that if it's the military and they're testing something or they have something out there that we're not aware of yet or we're not being told about, they're not going to get real close to a commercial airliner because they don't want to bring it down. They don't want to cause any issues. Just thoughts going through my head. Again, I could be totally off base here, but it just doesn't make any sense. And another one that I remember that we had played before was another pilot who was talking about just on the horizon. He could see that they were at different altitudes, but just over the horizon, he could keep seeing these lights and they were moving all over the place at high rates of speed, bouncing back and forth, doing this and doing that. So there's definitely something going on. It's we're past, ET type stuff. I think we're looking at something a little bit more maybe nefarious from a technological standpoint, that they're testing some things and we're starting to see them, but nobody's really questioning it. And that's what really gets me, starts sending my radar up that I want to know more about this. I want to know what exactly it is that they are hiding. Because it seems like they're definitely hiding something.
What's the farthest? Isn't it only 6 miles that a drone can fly from their current unless it's like super high tech? So it's not like me or you flying something. It's definitely a military or some other thing.
Well, if you listen to that clip that I just played, he even said they're going up to the 50s. He's talking about 50,000 feet. No, nothing that we have that we can buy at Walmart or Costco is going up 50,000 feet and zipping around, and it's going to be noticeable because it's going to be like a pimple on your butt, if you get my drift. It's going to be so small, they're not going to know what that thing is. So, no, we're talking high altitudes.
They sound so calm, though, while they're talking. Like it's weird.
A lot of these people, I don't know this for sure about these guys, but a lot of these pilots are ex-military, the fighter pilots and so forth. So I don't know that too much is going to, really spook them. And again, it goes back to what I said. Nothing's really challenged them. Nothing's come in and put a bright light in their windows where they couldn't see. Nothing has spooked them except for, man, I see something out there. And I think with somebody like me maybe you, I don't know, but if I saw something like that, I would be fascinated.
Oh, 100%.
And before I move on to the next one, one of the shows we did, we showed something like this. I think it was Charlie Kirk or something got up into the cockpit, and they were. I know it was one of those guys, and they were filming, and the pilot was saying that he was seeing something out there on the horizon. I think it was the one I was talking about that they kept saying was just out on the edge, and there was 3 or 4 different ones that they had seen as they were flying out west toward Phoenix, or I don't know, they're going to Arizona somewhere. But anyway, I do know that I'm pretty sure it was Charlie Kirk that that was a clip of. So, but anyway, let's go back to. I've got another one here that I wanted to show everybody. Again, this is fascinating stuff. It really is. This is a Chinese military. Just to give you an idea, it's only 17 seconds. But this is the kind of stuff we are up against. Now we're going from high tech, way up high altitude, to something that if you were just out walking around, you wouldn't probably give it a second guess. So check this out.
观察。
另一名队员呢，现在释放了一个仿生两，它的作用是，现在呢看到的是仿生两在空中呢进行对我们前方的区域进行前后的侦察。它仿生两的特点呢和侦。
All right, so yeah, no, that was Chinese. Yeah, I get it. You didn't understand it unless you speak Chinese, but that was a drone.
Yeah.
That was a drone.
Birds have been fake. I mean, that's old news. There are some pigeons and birds out there that are 100% secret drones from our military as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we have them. If China has them, we have them.
Yeah, and that's just going from like super high tech to just everyday animals. But again, a drone, it has to, it's going to be something that's going to be either up above, or it's going to be, we know that they have them in the water. We did a show on that one as well. That's, setting somewhere under the water and can stay there for an extended period of time. And it can blow things up under the water. So if everyone remembers a pipeline that Russia was accused of blowing up, yeah, just think about that big drone that sets up under the water. You got them the size and looks of bees. Oh, yeah. Minority Report, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that the one with Tom Cruise where these little things walk around, they get in their eye or his eye, and they do all kinds of weird stuff. We're starting to see some really crazy stuff like that. It really is. So, all right, we got a time-lapse video here. And I believe this is New Jersey right off the highway. You can see the cars going by. It's at nighttime. And you can see the headlights and everything. So check out this time lapse that's over New Jersey. It is it's very interesting. And they're saying it is drones. Let's check it out. Now that goes on for another minute. It's a minute 19 if I would have let it play out. But to me, that's a scene from a movie. That's like a bunch of tooth fairies or fairies out there floating around that your kids would watch on TV. That's pretty creepy, but I don't know what that is. People saying
the timing to me is just so weird. They come out in the last few months and tell us that UFOs and aliens are real. This is from the government in court documents. And now all of a sudden, all of these things just start to pop up. Like, either they are real and the aliens are like, hey, if you don't come out and say this, 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 and this, we're going to take over. Or you must, like those movies, you know what I mean? Like something out of like Men in Black. Like at this point in time, you just got to think so out of the box and be like, nah, that sounds crazy. And then you're like, but is it really crazy? You know what I mean? Like, are they already like, you know what I mean? Like, did they threaten the government to be like, hey, we're going to come out and tell all your secrets? And they're like, oh, crap, we better tell people that they're actually real. You know what I mean? Like, or is it a mothership out in the ocean where people are trying to gather intelligence of our waterways, of our, electric infrastructure? Like, what is truly happening? Oh,
It's
and I just got a thing where there's a police standoff with a barricaded suspect. Police have requested drone units from both the police and the fire department.
drones. I need drones. Give me some
Yeah, they're
drones.
calling for drones. I'm trying to find out. I don't even know where this is. Is this in Boston? Yeah, in Boston. I don't know what is going off, but there is a standoff with a barricaded subject.
Well, it's probably an unhappy New Yorker still because of the baseball trade between the Yankees and the Mets. So who knows?
That
You
was
never
the
know what's going on with
stupidest
these people.
trade.
Oh, 750 million. Somebody's rich. So not
Right.
me, not me, not me at all. So I got another, here's another clip of, this is Josh Hawley. These are really short. This is a short one here, but check out Josh Hawley from my state of Missouri talking about our government and these unidentified flying objects.
Yeah, you can't tell me that we don't know what that is. I just think they're not being honest with us. I think that if we don't know, if our government really has no idea, then they're even more incompetent than I thought. We've got to get to the bottom of this, and they need to level with the American people about what's going on. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, I think somebody knows. Again, those who are on these committees, the top secret stuff, I think they know exactly what's going on. I find it hard to believe that everyone's asleep at the wheel. There has to be someone who has, it's piqued their interest. Just because Joe's sleeping in Delaware and Kamala's off getting drunk somewhere, who knows where. She's probably like face down on the table in her drink. I don't know. They've totally disappeared. So I'm just assuming from all accounts that I'm seeing that Trump and Vance and Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, everybody's running the country already. So I don't know. Pretty crazy stuff. Another one here. This is a minute 18. And this one here is from about the hearing. This is a Chinese spy balloon they're talking about. If you remember that one drifted across the U.S. And now we have the UFOs flying over New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, and supposedly they're avoiding radar. And is this a safety risk for us? So it's something that we do need to know. But I believe this is another Fox report. So check it out.
You see, Trump National Golf Club isn't far from the Picatinny Arsenal military base, which some thought may be behind the drones. But the base tells Fox News, quote, while the source and cause of these aircraft operating in our area remain unknown, we can confirm that they are not the result of any Picatinny Arsenal-related activities. Now, Fox News also spoke with Congressman Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey. He said it doesn't appear the pilots of these drones are breaking any laws, rules, or regulations. They're staying out of restricted airspace, which he says is an indication that they know what they're doing.
I do not believe it's the U.S. military, and if it is, and if they're doing exercises, shame on them for the disorganized way they are doing it. I don't believe it is them. I am hopeful it is not a foreign adversary, yet I do worry about that.
Yeah, and this will be a main topic of conversation at a House hearing on Capitol Hill today that starts at 2 o'clock, focused on the safety implications of drone technology. And Congressman Van Drew tells Fox that the United States is behind, specifically China, with this technology, and that we need to do a better job of defending against and integrating drone technology. We'll send it back to you, Dana.
Interesting. So I don't know. I don't think it's a foreign adversary. I think it's our technology, and I think they're testing stuff. That's what I truly think is going on.
So there
Again,
was another
it?
explanation that caught my eye today. They were talking about that same thing. They think it's our military, and maybe there was a tip off that maybe somebody that come across the border or, whatever, have, planted either nuclear weapons or EMPs somewhere in the city in New Jersey, and our government is trying to find them without creating mass panic that there's something that shouldn't be on our streets.
I think if that was true, I'm just going out on a limb here because I haven't heard any stories of any unusual activity on the ground. There's no way you're going to do a search like that from the air only. It will be air and ground both. Just like they would if they were a high-speed chase on someone that they really wanted. They're going to have a chopper up in the air, and they're going to have chasers on the ground. So I would kind of, I don't know, I would dismiss that one until there was more proof. One of those type situations, because we would see unusual activity, like a certain section of the city would be blocked off. I'm guessing, I would think, common sense. And okay, well, if they think it's somewhere, people are going to notice these things. We all notice things in our areas, our small towns, like we have. If something we see, like somebody moving around, that no, that's not normal. You're not from around here. We know that. We can tell by the way you're driving, the way you're acting, the car you're in, whatever. You guys and gals see the same thing wherever you live too. You know when something's off. So I would dismiss that one. And right now, it just seems like it's strictly in the air. And I think they're being tested. Somebody finally noticed. Thank you, Francis. Look at you. I did that the last show. Yeah, exactly. I did that on the last show, and not one person mentioned my name that I had up on screen. So I'm guessing you all don't pay any attention to the screen. You just listen. If that's the case, we'll just quit doing the video aspect of this, and we'll just make it audio. Then I can do it, sit here in my underwear and whatever, I'll be like, yeah, there you go. But anyway, yeah, thank you for noticing that, Luigi. I'm up here, Mangione. So that sounded like something out of The Godfather, didn't it?
Yeah.
Right. And here's another one I found that I showed my wife earlier. This one's really cool. It's only 13 seconds long, so I might play it twice. I really like this one. I just kept playing it over and over and over, like on a loop. Pretty cool, but this one was a door cam. It had motion detection on it. And when it detected it, it started recording. And this is over New Jersey. And if you look at this really close and tell me if you notice anything about this that kind of catches your eye and makes you think that it's something else or something different. So check this out. Okay, I'm going to play that again. All right, so I can keep that one in the studio if anyone wants to see it again. But when you see that, what do you think? Huh?
Did that trigger their doorbell camera?
Yeah, it's motion. Sure.
But airplanes would not pick the air. If an airplane went by like that, it would not have triggered that. Absolutely not.
That went right over. It swooped right over their farm. It was closer than it appeared. Yeah.
Do you see how it like glowed and the trail?
Yeah, and that's what I noticed, but it made me think that it had like a force field around it. It was kind of, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't, but that's what we would have seen in movies back growing up as a kid. Like, oh, that's got a force field around it, but that was wicked. It was. And again, that's off a door cam. I'm going to play it one more time and let it go, but this is super wicked. And you can see the chicken house right there, and you hear the dogs barking, so they must have heard something.
That's what I was going to say.
What is that?
There's no sound from those. You only hear the animals reacting to it, which is strange because they don't react. Yeah. If you threw a drone over there, I don't think the dogs would react to that.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, these are just weird things that are happening, and I'm just playing them so that everyone, they are much lower than an airplane. Absolutely, they are, Terry. Good point. And again,
was this also in New Jersey?
Yes, that was in New Jersey. It was in Jersey. Yeah,
Jersey?
probably heat emissions, but yeah, when you see that, it's almost as if it's a meteorite or a meteor, like a shower where you see, that trail that comes from it and goes around like it's got a protective wall. And then, like I said, I don't believe that was a force field. That's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, wow, look at that. That is wild. Really, really wild that all of this is going on. And again, a lot of this has been happening over the last couple years, all the way out west. If anyone's been following the show, and hopefully you have, and seen some of the clips that we played, we're starting to see a lot more activity in New Jersey. And I am questioning. I want to know why this is a big issue all of a sudden. Joy says, Joe, I agree. I'm thinking, does that say I 1000?
I 1000 believe.
Okay. All right. Believe it is a deception to take people's eye off of scripture and God. Yeah, I have no clue. The one thing I do know for sure is that it's there for a reason, to either gain attention or to test some things to see what's going on. Now, I was going to play some videos, which I didn't download or anything, but I did find some videos of planes and some actual footage of the drones, whatever these things are. And I kind of touched on it earlier with these airline pilots, that they were, nothing's really gotten close to them. But there are clips out there. They're being refuted as not being real. I haven't verified them yet, but I would love to find some that have been verified. If these things are real, if it's true, there is footage out there that shows that whatever these objects are, they're faster than our planes, and they go around them as if you were going down the highway. If you were going down a highway and you see one of these dragonflies or something, they go fast, and they'll go and they'll go right around you, and you're doing almost like 55 on the highway, and you're like, wow, this is what they're doing. They are buzzing around the plane. And again, I did some research on it, very brief. And there was some notes in there saying that it's been refuted. Another person said that it's real. There's several of these videos out there, but I want to verify that because if these things are moving around like that, then we're going into another complete dimension as far as technology, or maybe more than one dimension. Because even if you're operating a drone, it takes a lot of skill to around a jet or a airline passenger plane that's scooting across the sky at 700-800 miles an hour, whatever they do. So yeah, that's there's very interesting stuff going on out there. And again, I think we'll get to the bottom of it. Maybe if someone shoots one down, I wouldn't be surprised, especially here in Missouri, if something like that would happen out here in my area. I can tell you, one of these rednecks out here, he's going to spit, some cud down there on the ground. He's going to go, and one of them's going to come out of the sky, and we're going to know what it is. Or maybe we are going to wish that he didn't shoot it out of the sky when we find out what it is. So, but, somewhere, somebody in New Jersey, New York, they're going to get tired of this, and they're going to take matters into their own hands, or it's going to fly over their property or their homes, and they're going to bring one of these things down. And again, I'm just going to go and say that at this point in time, I believe it's U.S. technology. I think the military, the defense contractors, I think it's somebody in that realm that's messing with stuff, is what I actually believe it to be. And I'm going to stick with that one until I'm proven wrong, because that's all I've got. I can't go on anything else because there's nothing else out there that's going to give us any more answers besides that. So, all right. So we've already covered all the drone stuff. Does anybody have any? I got one clip here that I want to play. We're going to just touch on this just a little bit, because I actually have two clips on this. But this is Daniel Penny. I'm sure everybody saw this. It's only 51 seconds, so we're going to shift gears here and talk just briefly about Daniel Penny and Jordan Neely, which we covered the other day as well. But let's go ahead and check this clip out. Then this was an interview that Judge Janine Pirro had done with him, which I haven't watched it in its entirety. It's on Fox Nation, which I don't have. So I guess I'll have to watch the clips and put them all together. So check it out.
I mean, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't really extend myself. I think this type of thing is very uncomfortable. All this attention and limelight is very uncomfortable. And I would prefer without it. I didn't want any type of attention or praise, and I still don't. The guilt I would have felt if someone did get hurt, if he did do what he was threatening to do, would never be able to live with myself. And I'll take 1 million court appearances and people calling me names and people hating me just to keep one of those people from getting hurt or killed.
Yeah. Super nice guy. And you can tell by his facial expressions, which isn't much, but you can tell by his eye contact and lack of, that everything he is saying, he truly believes. And I do believe him when he says that he's not that person that's seeking attention. He has none of those qualities whatsoever.
No.
People like us, we're seeking attention. Why? Because we do a live stream. So we want you to come look at us and watch us or listen to us. So we're the boneheads that seek attention, not him. He wouldn't be doing this. And I do believe that what he said in other clips, and that he would do this again. He would go into court 100 or 1,000 times or whatever he said, if it meant saving someone else. He would do it again over and over again. And we already know that Jordan Neely's father, we talked about this on the last show. He's already started the process. He's already sued him in civil court. So once a Marine, always a Marine. Yes, Terry, that's exactly true. And we need more people like him. We really do. Which is going to segue right into this next 52-second clip that I have. And this is the lovely, lovely AOC. Check this out.
Said that he would do it again if necessary, if there was a present threat. What do you make of the comments?
Well, doesn't that, I just feel like that tells us everything. If we do not want violence on our subways, and the point of our justice system is a level of accountability to prevent a person who does not have remorse about taking another person's life. I mean, even people who have engaged in manslaughter or have taken a life accidentally express remorse. And so the fact that a person may express no remorse indicates that there's a risk that it may happen again. And if we do not want to unleash that level of violence, then we should exert a level of accountability to prevent that from happening again.
So what we should do is the subway, what she's saying, would be a safer place if we just lock up people like Daniel Penny. Yeah, it was really hard to hear. She was just basically saying that he wasn't showing any remorse. I had to turn my volume way up. It actually played a lot better before I downloaded it, so I don't know what happened there. But she was saying that he wasn't showing any remorse for someone who had committed manslaughter, in her words. I think she has to be really careful for defamation and stuff, but she's one of those people that likes to listen to herself talk, and she says things that she feels makes her seem smart, and she's really not. Glad you muted it. Can't stand her. People are going to think I'm totally crazy, but I have to be honest. I'm always forthright with everyone. And I've even said this to my wife. I said, when I look at her in certain pictures, she's a beautiful young girl or lady. She really is. But man, as soon as she opens up her mouth, it's done. It is over. It's like, no, I cannot deal with you. I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh my gosh, she's horrible. She's not. She's a very pretty young woman, and it's just a shame that I don't know what happened to the brain cells, and she's from Spanish heritage, so I'm kind of disappointed. I was like, come on, mama. Mamacita, be independent than you are. She's not. Anyway, but yeah, that's all she's really saying is that we shouldn't have people stepping up and doing those things. And because he's showing no remorse, she feels that there's a very high chance or high probability that he is going to do that again. That's all she really said, which is a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, he'll protect somebody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But but as far as just to go kill somebody, no, that's not going to happen.
No.
And, that's another thing too, is that this whole thing, when we get to the last story of the show, this is what it's all about. We heard Hawk Newsom, the big black guy that was outside doing that presser or in front of the media talking about if you're going to get up and choke us to death because we're getting loud. It had nothing to do with you getting loud, because it's very apparent you get loud all the time, because the only way you can express yourself is by yelling and screaming and acting a fool, which tells me that you really don't have anything to say. Because I can have a conversation with you, we can be a little bit heated, and we don't have to be yelling and screaming at each other. I can still get my point across. I can still be civil. I don't have to say, well, what are you going to do as a black man? Get up and choke me? I mean, come on. We all know that this didn't happen because of color. And that's why we talked about the Benjamin Crump factor and Al Sharpton and all these other people that are going to eventually get involved because there's money to be made. Bottom line, it's a money-making scheme in the black community. A small portion. I don't even believe a large portion of the black community believes in these fools. At least I hope and pray that they don't. But a small portion of them still believe in them. And we all know what they did. They took millions and bought mansions and vehicles. That it was luxury items that they ended up spending all this money on. They never spent it on any of the young boys and girls in Chicago that are killing themselves. They don't spend it on anything in the black communities. They don't feed anybody. They don't clothe anybody. They don't do anything for the black community. The only thing they do for black people is themselves when they buy all of these expensive, luxurious items that they apparently they need to have to survive. But anyway, this last clip here, Democrats in Congress urge Biden to commute sentences for every convict on death row, and they're citing racism. So this whole thing is stemming from supposed systematic white supremacist and racism again. And didn't we hear this before with George Floyd, Michael Brown? I mean, it's like a vicious cycle. And check out the people who are a part of this. And this is going to tell you everything you need to know. It's sickening that these people have a platform to even speak from. Thank God for them that we have the First Amendment here in the United States. Getting loud. He was arrested 42 times in 7 years. He even tried to kidnap a 7-year-old. He was a violent criminal and drug addicted to boot. They have misplaced empathy. Yeah. And when I said loud, though, and I know what you're saying, Terry, and you're absolutely right. You're talking about Jordan Neely himself. I was talking about Hawk Newsom. He made that comment, but I was talking about him getting loud because if you noticed, I don't know if that was his sister that got up afterwards. I forget her name, but the girl who dropped the GD twice at the very end that I cut out on the last show on Monday. That's how they get their point across. It's like if you try to have a discussion with them, they yell and scream and act crazy. And that's when you know they have nothing important to say. You've already won. They just think that they have won because they're yelling and screaming at you. But yeah, point taken. Neely had a record, which we would call, a mile long, a rap sheet. And I mean, the guy had issues. And also, thanks, Terry, for reminding me, because when I said about the kids in Chicago, what did Black Lives Matter? What did, Black Lives Matter? What did the family of Jordan Neely, the father, and I don't even know, I think the mother was there, grandmother, somebody. What did the family do? What did the community do? Because shame on me for not getting this, but there was a story out there that he was admitted to some medical facility or something, and he let himself out or left. So he had he had something out there for him. And but anyway, they didn't do anything for this guy. The bottom line, and it's sad. And I made this comment a post. I do not take any pleasure whatsoever in this young man losing his life. I don't care how bad of a person he was. I am nobody to say that it's your time to die and it's time to meet your maker. What I will say is, if you put yourself in these predicaments, and whether you're drug induced or not, it doesn't matter. You put yourself in that predicament and you make these kinds of threats, and people don't know for sure how to read you, bad things are going to happen. And that's what happened in this case. Everyone believed everything he was saying, and the end result was death. It is sad that anyone loses their life. It's
Maybe
sad.
he comes back as a new soul to try to right his wrongs.
Yeah, well, I don't believe in that, but I get you. No, it's just, I don't know. Again, it just really upsets me that we're still talking about this in 2024 when it comes to racism. These people, they're insufferable. They really are. There's just no, I could think of a lot of words for these people, but I think we're better than that, and we're going to keep it there. So, yeah. Hey, Karen, what's up? Stupid games, stupid prizes. Absolutely. So, all right, this last clip here, check this one out. Jamal Bowman, Ayanna Presley from Massachusetts, of all places, and Corey Bush from St. Louis. You know, they're still up there. They're still relevant in their heads, but to us, they're actually irrelevant. So let's go ahead and check out this clip here. Again, this is them wanting Joe Biden to, do something really big and commute sentences for every convict on death row, citing racism. Check it out.
Today, on Human Rights Day, we call on President Biden to do the right thing, to use his clemency authority to commute the death sentences of the 40 individuals on death row, to resentence them to a prison term, and to save lives. State-sanctioned murder is not justice. And the death penalty is a cruel, racist, and fundamentally flawed punishment that has no place in our society. It is deeply discriminatory and has disproportionately been weaponized against Black, brown, and low-income families for far too long. It is long past time for President Biden to make good on his campaign promise to address the federal death penalty. With 40 days left in his presidency, we must move with urgency and ensure that history never repeats itself.
This grinds my gears and it gets me going, Lou. I guess it's better than crying. But what? I know nobody should take a life. I understand that whole thing. But you know what? What about that guy that took that child's life or things like that? Like, seriously, people.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, it goes back to the Old Testament, eye for an eye, all of that. And, a lot of people don't believe in the death penalty. Other people do. There's a reason that if you look at most of the population percentages across the United States in these cities and small towns, the Black community makes up a very, very small percentage of that, but they have a higher percentage of incarceration. Now, could some of that be from racism? I guess absolutely there has to be, but is it widespread? Are they out doing more crime in those communities? Well, it must be, because they're going to prison for murder. Chicago, they're killing each other. And again, it goes back to BLM and all these other places or organizations. What are they doing for the Black community? What are they doing for the community that doesn't have a family unit, that just has a mother but no father? What are they doing for these young kids? What are they doing to get them off the streets, out of the gangs, away from drugs, away from weapons? They're not doing anything for these people. But what they will do is they will be the first ones. Again, Corey Bush, she's a hood rat. I know for a fact, because she's from my home state up in the St. Louis area. She's a hood rat. She has no business holding any position like this whatsoever. That woman is a racist. She hates white people. She hates everything about everything, unless it's herself or her community. That's it. And I don't even believe she really cares about her own people, to be quite honest. We're all God's people, but I'm talking about the way she thinks. Her people are just black people and only black people. We look at it as all people together. She doesn't. We already know what Ayanna Presley's like. And Jamal Bowman sitting there in the back, Mr. Pull the fire alarm. Oh, I didn't realize. Come on, dude. Every one of these people, they are jokes. And they have no business being up in Washington or anywhere around any position of authority. They're disgraceful. They're menaces to society. Division, that's the goal. Look at that. Who is that girl up there?
I don't know.
Who is that girl up there? All right, so that's enough of that. Oh, I do have one thing. I forgot. I came across this. This is on this subject, and we're going to move on to the last topic. I ran across Malcolm X. I know, controversial person, very controversial. But I've seen this before and I've heard this before, and he for what he is and what he was, he knew this, and this is true. Again, Malcolm X, I found it toward the end. I just added it to the show. He's actually gonna school us here a little bit. He's going to explain to us about white liberals. Check this out.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. You take him for a friend.
There are many whites who act friendly toward Negroes. A fox acts friendly toward the lamb. And usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. The wolf doesn't act friendly. And therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chop in his plate.
I'd like to point out, though, that...
I say that because it is usually if you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro.
On the other hand, I think one could point to a large number of whites who have struggled for civil rights, for equality, and have got little or nothing out of it. Other than quite a few bruises.
Give me an example.
Well, the large number of white students who have gone into the South, for example, working for SNCC and other organizations.
Not working for SNCC or other organizations, but working for the white political machines who benefit by the voting efforts of Negroes.
Okay. Today, you could point to a large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
They aren't really Negro leaders. These are puppets that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. You can't name me a Negro leader who has been betrayed Negroes, who has not been endorsed, sanctioned, subsidized, and supported by the white liberals.
So there you go. I mean, again, say what you may, those are words of wisdom, because that's exactly what I feel and what I see and what I think. When we see people, because we talk about this all the time when it comes to politics, you have people who, bless you, we have people who are talking about, like the leader in Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, and people like that. What we see is what Malcolm had just said. These people were put in place to stand up in front of the black community to make them think that we're going to help them and we're going to take care of them. And when in essence, they're not doing any of that. What they're actually doing is keeping you right where they want you. Now, it's not my saying. I don't really like this saying, like keeping people on the plantation, because I don't know. I just, a plantation in itself is just where you plant things and grow things, but it's just, associated with slavery. But the bottom line is that's how people describe it. They want even us to stay, per se, on a plantation in our place. And that's what Malcolm's saying to the black people, that you think these people are there for you. You think these white liberals, the Democrats, you think they are there for you. They're not. They never have been. And here we are today. And people still think that they're okay. And they vote for them. So again,
it was that same white liberal man who put abortion clinics in black neighborhoods to help them out.
Yep. And a lot of people support that. They think that, oh, that's the way to be. So, all right. Did we have any comments on that? I'm looking in here, and I noticed that when Joyce had put something up on the screen in the chat here, I couldn't tell what she was putting, but then I can see it in the chat here on my iPad. It's weird. It's like the 100% or whatever. It looks different on the screen. I don't know why, but I have to really look over here to see what's going on. But yeah, Malcolm X was a smart man, and it wasn't long after his speech he was killed. I'm reading from over here now, 17 George. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of people didn't like him. Very well spoken, educated. And I think that's what scared people, but he told it like it was. And I think it was pretty telling, even back in that day, to be able to come out and say those kinds of things. So, all right, real quickly, we're going to move on to the first black president of this nation and how he let the black people down. The black community got left out, Joe said. My next clip here, this is the next big story. And oh my goodness, I am all over. I've got posts everywhere about the Canadians. I don't know if these people are parody accounts. I don't know. Some of them are verified, which doesn't make any difference. Some of them are not verified, and they only have a few followers. So I don't know if they're bots. I don't know what's going on with some of these accounts, but they are all literally freaking out because of what Donald Trump had posted or tweeted out. I believe he did it on X and maybe Truth Social both, about where he keeps coming out and saying, hey, congratulations or whatever. Governor Justin Trudeau speaks about Canada being the 51st and maybe splitting it in half and making it the 51st and 52nd. There's so much stuff going around right now. But there's people in Canada who are actually believing. They're upset right now because they literally think that Donald Trump is on a mission to take over the country of Canada and to annex them and make them another state for the United States of America. And it's getting to the point now where either you're just playing games to get engagement or impressions and to make money on X, or you're really stupid. You're a moron. I don't know which one it is, but it's one or the other. And if you really believe that by what Donald Trump is tweeting out or posting on X is that he is serious about taking over Canada, you're seriously mistaken. You have been misled. And I also know that they're talking about how bad Donald Trump is, but I also made the comment and I pushed back and said, it's amazing that a lot of you leftist Canadians are speaking out over what Trump said, but I see nothing from your leader, Justin Trudeau. That says tons right there. It speaks for itself. Why are you the one saying something? I would think that if he was really worried about this, that he would be speaking out and lashing out, but we're not seeing any of that right now. And all this really boils down to, for those of you, if anyone watches on replay, if you're watching on X right now and you're in Canada, outside of our friend Sean, which I don't think Third Railify is in here, but either way, if you're listening, please stop, because there was only one person that reached out to me on X that said, I hope you don't think that all of us up here in Canada think like this. or believe this? And I said, no, I'm not I'm not a nut job. I don't actually I believe there's a small minority of people in Canada that are leftist, progressives, just like here in our country, same thing, that are nut jobs, and they actually believe everything that they see or that they're told or that they read. And it's a shame, because we know that Donald Trump is doing this for a reason. He's sending a message. He's playing games the way Donald Trump does. It's like, if you don't come to the negotiating table and we don't work this out to where it benefits the United States of America more, there's going to be hell to pay and things are going to change. And then we'll raise the tariffs and it's going to hurt you. And then people were, pushing Heinz ketchup around. Well, we can't get ketchup. Ketchup prices are going to go higher. Harley Davidson motorcycles are going to go through the roof and blah, 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 blah. Well, do your research, people. They make the ketchup here in the United States in several places, and they also make Harley Davidson motorcycles here in the United States. Okay. And a lot of the parts they get for these motorcycles come from other countries outside of Canada. So quit freaking out. Quit being stupid. Critical thinking, research, verify, then comment about something. But if you're in Canada, please stop. Especially if you're on the progressive left, please stop. Use some common sense. Use the brain cells that God gave you. That's all I got to say to the Canadians, because we're not coming after your country. We don't want your country. We can't handle the one we have right now because the last 4 years have been complete and utter hell. So anyway, but here we go. This is the Canadian politician. They're actually starting to be worried, supposedly, that Trump's actually planning a real annexation. So check this out.
Trump on his Truth Social this morning greeted the Prime Minister as the governor of the 51st state, something along that line. Have you seen that? Do you have any thoughts about that, about the dynamics of the relationship?
I haven't seen that, but so I probably should comment. Just that with the Truth Social post of Donald Trump planting a Canadian flag on a Canadian mountain, I have to say that to the extent that this 51st state thing was a joke, it's not funny. And I find that pursuing it on social media makes me increasingly nervous. Mr. Trump has, we have to be very, very careful with the president-elect, and we have to pull together, I think, all opposition party leaders and premiers, all elements of the Canadian political establishment, such as we are, better pull together to make sure we don't create any cracks that allow Fox News or Mr. Trump's social media to exploit us and say things about Canada that aren't true.
I want to know, whenever I see people like this, and I promise you, I'm not making fun of people. Well, maybe I am a little bit, but not in a bad way. Whenever you see somebody do this and they keep looking up when they're talking, the first impression that I have or question is, who in the hell are you talking to? What is going on up there that you have to look up all the time? And what I see here, usually when that happens, it's, I don't want to use the word unstable, but a little bit off kilter. People who do that, something's a little amiss. I guess I'm trying to be really polite here. I'm not trying to be judgmental, but maybe they're borderline lunatics. Maybe I just went too far. I don't know, but you all know what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know.
I learned this watching the Karen Read trial. When you're looking up, like if you ask somebody what's your birthday and they have to think for a second, because sometimes we all have to think. If you know the answer, you're looking down. You go, but if you're searching for that lie or whatever you told, you are looking up and you're going, because you can't remember the truth. So you're searching for it. That's what it is.
It's funny.
Ooh, Terry, say it. Terry, say
it. Do it, baby. Do it. You know you do it. All you got to do is put your mind to it. I remember that was a cheerleading cheer back when I was in high school. It was something like, we know you can do it. All you have to do is put your mind to it. Yeah, look at me trying to be all, yes.
Back into it.
Did she say it? I don't know. I'm waiting for her to to break away from Britain. I don't know. There's a whole nother conversation going over to my right. I can't keep up with all you. You guys are wait. There's 150 comments up here on my screen, which means I've missed all of those.
I read them all.
See, she's the only one who gets to read them because she's the one who controls it. So if you're all talking to me, just go wake me up. So put a star in there and say, hey, comment on this. All right. So anyway, let me go in here real quick, and then I got a couple other things that I wanna play. I was trying to let me see here. Here we go. All right. Dear white people, man, oh man, oh man. When I saw this, I don't know. I'm not the type of person to lose it, but it got my mind going. And especially when I realized who it was from and saw that it was Jamal Bowman, that we had already seen in that one clip standing behind Presley about doing the commute for the, people that on death row. But he says, dear white people, I don't know why I feel the need to keep talking to you. I don't know why part of me still has hope for you and for us. Some of you are too far gone, but maybe enough of you aren't and will join us in fighting to end white supremacy. So it's almost as if, it's not as if they are. He's talking down to us. And then he's bringing up white supremacy. And I'm thinking to myself, what white supremacy? What in the world are you talking about? And we all know that it's related to Jordan Neely. This is exactly where this is coming from. So he goes on to say, this is a whole thread on X. I just want to call out the hypocrisy and evil of it all and just continue to hope. I won't rely completely on you because I know what's most important is to, what did he say? On you because I know what's most important is to work with my community and other like-minded allies in the fight for justice. But I guess I'll just offer this. I am 48 years old, and I'm sorry that you're 48 years old and you still think like this because you're like an adolescent still. Sorry, I had to put that in there. I'm 48 years old, and I have seen countless incidents of brutal police violence and killings in my lifetime. Oh my gosh. The first black man I saw violently attacked on camera was Rodney King. Those officers were acquitted. 2 of the 4 officers were convicted. Powell acquitted for excess force and false report, but hung jury for assault. California dropped charge. When federal case was filed, convicted on federal charges, went to prison. Of course, that Powell acquitted on charges, convicted on federal charges, went to prison. And then he goes on to say, next was Eric Gardner's murder as his cries of, I can't breathe. All he was doing was trying to sell a few cigarettes to survive an economy that failed him, and he was jumped and killed by police. The next video burned into my memory is the murder of Philando Castillo, shot and bled to death by police on live stream with his child in the back seat and his girlfriend next to him. How will that child heal from that trauma that will live in his body for the rest of his life? I didn't see videos of Trayvon Martin or Breonna Taylor, but their murders and trauma from their murderers' lives lives in my bones. I felt it then, and I feel it now, and it is compounded with every new video I see. The world saw George Floyd murder. George Floyd was not murdered. He died of a fentanyl overdose. His murder knelt on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I cried and couldn't stop crying. I saw 5 black Memphis police officers beating a black man to death on camera. White supremacy is not skin color. It's a state of mind. Now, I got lost here because unless he jumped to something that I missed, George Floyd, that didn't happen in Memphis. So maybe this was something else he was referring to because that was Minnesota. Anyway, Jordan Neely is the latest. He was sick. He was not a threat. He was subdued. Still not a threat. Daniel Penny choked him for 6 minutes, which we know isn't true, and killed him. We all watched it on camera. and he was still acquitted. We know that he was still alive and breathing when they finally got him out of Daniel Penny from holding him down. I've left out probably another 100 instances of trauma in my life. For comparison, I ask white people, how many times have you seen a white man killed in cold blood on camera or on your news feeds? How many times have you even heard about this? Oh, a whole bunch. I've seen
every school shooting, it seems like.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of white people be killed. The answer is never. That's a lie. You never have. Yes, we have. And whenever you feel discomfort from your whiteness, black people are harmed or killed. And there is never accountability or justice. This is the evil of white supremacy. It spans across geography and political parties and sickens us all. And then I'm going to stop here. He's only got 2 more anyway. I wish I didn't have to live with all of this trauma deep in my bones. I wish I could just be free to be me. You mean like pull a fire alarm? I think you were free to do that because you made a choice. I marvel at the beauty and greatness of my people in spite of white supremacy. It's extraordinary. That is what I will continue to lean on. Rest in peace, Jordan Neely. The justice system failed you. Kyle Rittenhouse and Daniel Penny are free. You're gone. We must still fight. I read this, and it makes me sick because this guy, there is something seriously wrong with Jamal Brown. I am so glad that he got booted out and he's going to be gone because it's people like this. It's people like Cori Bush, and there's still some up there that how in the world they got voted back in, I'll never understand.
Do you know what failed him? Our
Okay.
healthcare system.
There's a lot of things that failed him.
Our healthcare system. He should have been in jail. He should have been held accountable for his past crimes, and he wouldn't have been out on the streets, and he would have gotten help in jail.
Yeah, and it had nothing to do with white supremacy. And, you know, there is one truth that he said that justice was not actually served. Justice was not served to Daniel Penny. And a lot of people say, well, what do you mean? He got off. Well, yeah, he was found not guilty. Okay. But he should have never been charged in the first place. That would have been like justice served, that it never even got that far. Because they knew at that point, in my mind, that anybody else, any investigator, any detective, black, white, didn't matter what color they were, anybody on that train, anybody that rides that train on a daily basis, they knew for a fact that they would have, if they wouldn't have done the same thing, they were hoping that someone else would have.
Joyce has a great comment.
That someone would have came up and helped us. She said, yeah, they need to relearn the difference between white supremacy and self-defense. They also need to stop idolizing criminals. Yeah, that's a good point. And we've seen a lot of this stuff. And you know, the one thing that disappointed me about Jamal was he didn't mention Ferguson, Missouri. He left that one totally out. He didn't talk about Michael Brown. Although I have no idea why, because he would have been wrong on that one too, because I've covered that numerous times. Neely was failed by his parents first and foremost. Yes, there he is. Sean, I was just speaking of you, your fellow Canadians here just a few moments ago. Some crazy progressive left up there in your country that I've been going back and forth with all day on X. So, but yeah, the family failed, the community failed. And first and foremost, that's where it all happens, the family unit. But the dear white people, again, this is all stemming from Jordan Neely. And now we have to talk about white supremacy again when this had nothing whatsoever to do to it or with it. And then we have these, Hawk Newsom up there and the gal, whatever her name was, I think it's the sister, that are BLM founders or something that work together in this. These are really despicable people. They're thugs at best. And I hope that the black community pushes them out and doesn't follow their lead and just calls out their nonsense, because I see the black community standing up in Chicago against Johnson, I believe is the mayor, who took over for Lightfoot. So I'm starting to see them stand out, even though they weren't Trump supporters, but they're using Trump and they hope that Trump goes after them and gets them. So that's a good thing. But again, you know, it really grabbed me to see that this bonehead, and that's my way of being nice, that this bonehead would say, you know, dear white people. It's sickening. It really is. And I hope he gets help because this guy's got some mental issues to still feel like this. And I'll end it here with dear white people. I put this on social media several times on X because I truly believe this. There's a lot of crazy people out there who say things that are really, really hurtful. They call the women the C word or the B word, or they'll make comments like threats, and they'll do a lot of stuff, and then they'll use the phrase, I hate Trump with all of my soul, or I hate so and so because they're affiliated with Trump with all of my soul. And I always go back to them and I say, hatred is a cancer. It's cancerous. It will spread through your body. It will drain you of your happiness, of your motivation, and it will drain you of all of your energy. You will be a miserable person. And I tell them this at the end, seek professional help immediately. And I truly mean that, because if you don't, and you go through your whole life hating someone, you're never going to love yourself, because that hate consumes you. It truly consumes you. You'll never hear me say that I hate anyone or anything, because I don't have the energy for it. I want to keep whatever I have for good things. I don't have time to waste for hating people. I might dislike you, but I would still help you in time of need. Of course, I'm not going to, be there if you're trying to kill me. We're not talking about that, but if you're a bad person and you're in need, or, I have to defend you, I will still. They won't us. So keep that in mind. For all of you out there who are listening on X, we had someone come in Monday night show and started saying some really nasty things as a troll. And we got him booted out, saying some really, I think it was something about Trump crotch rod or something was the name, and just some real vile things. It said to a friend of ours, Karen, who I got in touch with directly and sent some text messages apologizing, even though it wasn't my fault, but apologizing because we actually have human beings in this world that we are able to sometimes, unfortunately, communicate with, and they just don't know how to contain themselves. They don't know how to act around other human beings. So I hate actions, not people. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I dislike a lot of things in life, but hate is just such a strong word, and I don't think people realize how much it really, really means. QQ, I'm looking at, I got to go in here now and make sure I'm seeing.
Question, is there a bank account titled BLM? Is it still a business?
Yes, I do believe so, because they still get donations and funds. So, hey, look, that's a second person that noticed my name. What do you think it means, Sean? Come on. I know Sean knows what it means. He's trying to be like a parody account right now. What's that? What's up with Lou's name? Well, Luigi is my name in Italian. No, see? Got to run and record my show. Y'all have a great night. Hey, Chris, I'll be checking it out. So get her done and do us right so I can watch that thing and enjoy it. I appreciate it. So for those of you who haven't followed him, My Morning Mayhem, you can go to Rumble. He's on YouTube. If you haven't followed him, give him a follow, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And he's getting close, I believe, to 1,000 on YouTube or CommieTube. So there you go. All right. Enough of dear white people. I love all of my dear white people. I love all of my dear black people. And I love all of my dear brown people and yellow people and whatever color people you are out there. I love you all. As long as you're civil to me, I can be civil to you. Oh my God, Lou, I was listening to you and read the disgusting stuff, and my dog stole my salsa and ate it.
Oh, no.
Don't you blame me for that. That's funny. All right. We're going to end. I got two clips here. One's 2.5 minutes. One's 3 minutes. We're going to end with the best one of all for last, because it's a really heartwarming story. But if for all of you who've heard me talk and follow us and watch the show, you've heard me talk about The View so many times. And I never thought, they're always attacking other people outside of the show. But Whoopi and Anna Navarro actually go at it. And it's really funny because they can't even get along and agree on anything, even when they're being mean to other people. But you got to watch this if you haven't seen it already. Check this out. This is hilarious.
He does this to keep you all in a panic. He does it to make you all do this and talk about him, and it's so terrible. But we have to do from now until January 21st is be with our families, be with our kids, do our jobs, make sure our checks don't bounce, make sure that we are taking care of ourselves and our families. Whatever he's going to do, he's going to do, but do take our word for it. Things seem to move slowly because, yeah, they didn't come get Hillary. But he has other people who are ready to go. But I don't think that they can just go out and do what they want to do.
I told you last week I disagree with you when you say that. Because we have the luxury of saying that because we're legal, we are successful, but if you're an illegal immigrant in this country, you're not going to be not in a panic. If you are a woman working for the Department of Defense, you have a right to be in a panic.
You tell people to stay fraught and like this.
I'm telling people to prepare, Whoopi. I'm telling people to
they're not prepared? They are prepared.
Right. So that means
I'm saying
that means that they can't be relaxing and enjoying Christmas.
No, it doesn't mean that.
When winter is coming.
No, it does. You know what? I'm sorry.
I mean, I disagree.
Winter is here.
Right.
Winter's been with us. And my point is we can lay down and do nothing for the next 15 days and then be freaking out for the next 4 or 2 years.
To you is we are in a privileged position that a lot of people who are going to be under his attack
who is going through the same thing.
I want his enemies listening. I'm not panicking.
Yeah.
Like we just have to live.
We have to figure out what we're panicking for. We don't know what we're panicking for. They're throwing 50,000 things at you to make you do this. I'm saying don't buy into that. Do what you have to do. Take care of your family. And when we know what is happening, when we know what we're fighting, we'll get out and fight. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm not saying don't do anything. I'm saying don't be this because nobody can do it.
I think people need to prepare.
Would you like us to stop? All right, we'll be right back.
Oh, that's great to watch. They're on the same side and they're fighting.
I know. You can't make this stuff up. And I'm looking in the chat. And I see that she looks like Predator. Yeah. And then it's like watching hens squawking. Someone says, 17 George says, toss a rooster in the coop. Yeah, cock, a fighting cock. Man, here's the thing. What did I just say earlier about people getting loud? There's a certain thing going on in society now that I mentioned earlier is that it's almost as if the louder you get and the more you scream, that it somehow vindicates you. And it does quite the opposite, actually. You saw Whoopi do it to a brown woman. A brown woman did it to a black woman. And they're both yelling at each other, thinking that they're winning the argument when they're both just making themselves look like fools. And then I start getting a headache. I got to turn my headset down because they're killing my eardrums. And it's like, are you people, what is wrong with you people? You can't agree on anything with anybody, and then you can't agree amongst yourselves, like you said, when they already, they're on the same side and they still can't agree.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. And it makes you wonder I don't know how they haven't got into a cat fight on that show. I almost bet you it's going to be at the end. It's going to be like a WWE. They're all going to be like, just put them in a ring, let them jump off the top rope and pounce each other to death and hit each other over the head with the folding chairs. Just make it a wrestling type venue. And then I think I could probably watch it when Watch somebody get slapped upside the head with something. That would be funny. Anyway, yeah, see, that's my mean side. My mean streak is coming out again. But yeah, we should turn the View into like the WWE version or SmackDown or something. We got to come up with something for that.
Frankie said the final show will be Royal Rumble.
There you go. There you go.
It'll be
See,
like
that's
a ladder match.
Oh my gosh. We'll be like here in Missouri. It was called like Wrestling at the Chase. They had this place called the Chase Park Plaza, and it was up around Forest Park, which is just west of St. Louis City. It's still in St. Louis, but it's closer to the suburbs. And they would have wrestling events there as a kid. And I remember it being on TV all the time, and it would be in black and white. Dick the Bruiser, Andre the Giant, all of them, yeah, crazy people. And I used to always laugh back then. I say, that's fake. That's fake. Nobody can get hit like that and not be hurt or bleed or whatever. So crazy, crazy stuff. All right. The last one I have is 3 minutes long, but this one's another one that we just recently covered. And this is actually some good news in Western North Carolina. And when we showed the show or showed the clips on the last show about a lot of the outside people, the religious organizations, nonprofit organizations, whatever they were, that were coming into Eastern Tennessee, Western North Carolina, and the affected areas, we got to see a lot of the good work that's going on by just everyday people. And again, these organizations, not the government, not FEMA, nobody else. So it's being reported, or this is actually happening, a nonprofit about a week ago that at the time they were delivering 29 campers. Some updates: Operation Hilo, that's H-E-L-O, Operation Hilo has now delivered 160 campers. These are like travel trailers, but smaller, to the Helene victims. Additionally, FEMA. Yeah, and this was a printout that I took. So this is a report that I printed out. So it's not my words. I'm just reading from the report. It says, additionally, FEMA has said they have extended the hotel vouchers that were scheduled to expire this week. If you remember in our last show, in that video, it said that they were going to expire. They couldn't stay there any longer. The vouchers are now extended to January 11th. So not today, this week, so on and so forth. Lots of fantastic people out there doing good work between Operation Hilo, Operation Shelter, Sean, Samson, Chris Hall, Matt, and others. Thankfully, to see some positive stories as well as a broadcast of this on Fox. Reminder, Operation Hilo started as local helicopter volunteer pilots who said that they felt they were called by God to help out. Again, it's just a continuance of the story of the coverage that we did on our show, talking about the people who are still suffering and will be suffering for quite some time. But check out this 3-minute video, and we'll wrap it up after that.
Operation Hilo, it's a nonprofit organization providing free campers to dozens of displaced families to help them survive the winter. Madison Scarpino is live from Burnsville, North Carolina. As we have pledged, Madison, we're not going to forget these folks, but apparently this nonprofit really stepped up.
Exactly, Dana. And the damage is still catastrophic in parts of the region. Nearly 3 months after Helene, over 100,000 homes are destroyed. People are still living in tents. But Operation Hilo is delivering all of these campers so that people can finally go back to living on their property. Now, this is the West Yancey Fire Department and Operation Hilo yesterday, delivering a camper for Sharon and Daryl Tricka. The couple has been living with their son out of state ever since Helene destroyed their home of 20 years. The Trickas will soon return to their North Carolina property and will live in that camper. They're waiting to hear if their house is a total loss or not, and we're overwhelmed with emotion about all of this.
The trailer's going to be, I can't tell you how much it's going to help us. Seeing all the goodness come from all around the country is overwhelming and so heartening. It fills you with such positivity. And
So far, Operation Hilo has delivered nearly 160 campers across western North Carolina. This is last week, a convoy of campers on the way to give hundreds of people shelter who lost nearly everything.
We're in the mountains, right? So people have livestock, they have farms. This is how this is their way of life. It's important that those people get back to their communities to be able to sustain their livelihood and their family farms. I wouldn't want to live in a hotel 2 hours away, and I'm sure all these people don't like it much either.
Thousands of North Carolinians have been living in hotels for months. FEMA hotel room payments for survivors was actually supposed to end this week, but it's been extended to January 11th because the need is just not going away. And again, Dana, nearly 160 campers delivered so far. Operation Hilo is going out in just a couple hours to deliver another one to a veteran, and they're going to keep on making those deliveries as long as those donations keep coming in.
Madison, you're on the ground there. What else do you think people really need right now?
So the number one priority, of course, is housing, shelter, generators for heat. But we were just here in Yancey County at this huge sporting complex where all of the kids, for example, go to play their sports, and that is completely leveled. There's going to be no sports for kids. The county doesn't think so. It's also just community activity, things like that. So the number one thing they need right now is the funding.
Right. Madison, thank you for being there for us and representing Fox so well down there. Thanks for the story.
That's pretty amazing story there. And I would imagine a lot of those travel trailers that are being hauled in that convoy, caravan, whatever you want to call it, are probably coming from places like Jayco, Integra, which is up in Shipshewana, Elkhart, Indiana, north of where Joe is. We spend not a lot of time, but we've been up there several times in Amish country up in Shipshewana. Beautiful, beautiful part of Indiana, not far from the Michigan border. And that's where they make all of those motor homes and RVs and stuff. And Jayco's now owned by Thor. But regardless, it looks like a lot of them are being given out. I'm sure it's a tax write-off, but it doesn't matter. These people need a place to stay besides a tent, especially the ones that have families, kids. It's just a good thing to see happening. And it's really sad that it's not FEMA and it's not our tax dollars, military or National Guard bringing this stuff in, because they should be doing a lot of this for the people, and it should have been going on, like right away as soon as they could. But this is what Americans are made of. This is what keeps it all going. It always comes down. I was just going to say that. Yeah. You want to read it? Go ahead. Go ahead.
It always comes down to people helping people. Better us than the government. We are better together. And it goes to what Lou says. The government knocks on your door. Don't accept the help. You're going to have to pay back one way or another. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was actually Ronald Reagan. I forget exactly how he said it verbatim, but it was more along the lines of if the government comes knocking at your door and they say they're here to help, turn them away and close that door in their face, because you don't want to mess with them. Karen, was the $750 a loan? I heard it was actually a loan to add insult to injury. I heard that too. Terry might know. I honestly do not know. I heard that it was, but I also heard that it was not. But I do know that that was the initial offer, because we played several of those clips when, what's her name again? I can't remember because we don't see her anymore. What was that? She was running for president. What was her name, Gina?
I don't know. She was too drunk to remember her name.
Was it Kamala or Kamala? I don't even know. People get mad. It's Kamala. Anyway, when Kamala Harris was in that clip that we played, she was talking about, you're going to get $750 and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me, because that's what yes. So there you go. The answer was yes, Karen. Thank you, Terry. By the way, and Terry, look at her. She is on the ball. She's like our real-time fact checker. I might have to steal her from Free and get her over here to do our fact checking for us. Or maybe she can do both shows when we're both going simultaneously and bounce back and forth. It has to be reported as income. That's sick. Everything we're going to help you, but
$750 was a loan. They have to pay it back, and they'll have to pay taxes on it. So it seems like the government makes out in that process.
Yeah, there you go. The scariest words you'll ever hear. We are from the government, and we are here to help. That is the verbatim. Thank you so much, Karen. So see, we got great people in our chat. We really do. They participate. They get information for me when I don't have the answers. And yeah, I love it. Skamala, you mean, Lou? Something like that. All right, we got to do something important here. We're going to do the Blackout Coffee and blackoutcoffee.com. Brutal Awakening, double the caffeine, and the beautiful patriotic 1776. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? I love this coffee. We just ordered another 5-pound bag. I think this is like 5, 10. Yeah, we just went through 10 pounds of coffee within the last couple months. And we just, we're getting ready to order another one of the Brutal Awakening, this one here. And that's the one we actually brew. These are the Keurig cups like things. So, but anyway, John Santos, who actually owns this and started blackoutcoffee.com. He is a patriot himself. He does a lot of good things for veterans across the country, out of Florida, if I didn't say that already. Very involved with a lot of different organizations, and they do a lot of great things. And by the way, he's also a sponsor of the Dan Bongino Show. And you know, if Dan Bongino puts him out there, he's a really good person. So he actually showed up at a few of the events for Trump and stuff like that. So great guy, John Santos. And here's what you need to know about Blackout Coffee, the process. It's all done in-house. They source premium specialty grade green coffee beans, which are graded at 80 points or above on a 100-point scale. Specialty coffees are grown at the perfect altitude, at the correct time of year, in the best soil, and then are harvested at just the right time. They work with local co-ops and farmers that grow this high-quality coffee, and they adopt a strict adherence to small batch roasting of their coffee. Blackout Coffee is roasted, packed, and shipped with lightning speed, usually within 24 to 48 hours. This means you get the beans just days after they're roasted. The combination of their premium coffee beans, highly controlled roasting process, and immediate shipping gives you, the customer, an elite coffee experience. And I can tell you from experience, and I know there's a few people in here as well that have bought this coffee, it's really good coffee. I really enjoy it. I know some people don't like the flavored coffee. I do. I like the blueberry crumble and the cinnamon French toast. Really good stuff. But if you do like that, you can get that as well. They have cold brew. They have all kinds of things. So go to blackoutcoffee.com and click on the link, which will be down in the show description where I always put it, and use the discount code LOUB, that's LOUB20, for a one-time 20% off discount. And yeah, I'm getting senile, so I have to repeat this all the time. For those of you who haven't watched us before, if you go down, order that, make sure you go in there and use that. And what I really meant to say was, if you have ordered it before and you've, followed us, that you can't use that 20% anymore. So they have all kinds of other codes out there and discounts. Go find one. Make sure you use the same link and you still get that discount. Plus you help us earn money for the show and to help support us. So anyway, always down in the show description, you'll find our X handles. You'll find other social media stuff there. You'll see us over on Spotify. We've got our own website at loseviewspodcast.com. So we're in a lot of different places where you can go find our content and follow us. And last but not least, it looks like we're getting more people from X that are watching. I do want to say something here lately, thanks with the help of Terry, especially because her and I kind of go back and forth, and I ask a lot of questions, and we're trying to make the X experience much better. I am really enjoying the fact that we are able to communicate and engage with a lot of these smaller accounts. And the reason I specify smaller accounts is because we actually are able to take the time to say good morning, say good night, say good afternoon, or how was your day? how are things going, and we can spread news and information, whatever we need to do on this platform. And we finally got to a place where we can communicate with people that we never would have had a chance to communicate with ever. And we can really get to know these people, especially me, because I'm out there. People can see me live. When I live stream, they can see my face, they hear my voice. And then when they see me comment or do something, and Terry's the same way, Gene is the same way, because Terry, has been on the show and stuff, but they can put a face with that voice. And it to me, it means a lot to know who I'm talking with. And, it makes them more special, I guess, if that makes any sense. But I don't know. It's just a really unique opportunity and experience that we have. And I'm really enjoying it. So again, thanks to people like Terry that are out there. There's a lot of different people like at Maisie Moore, people like this, the Western Lensman. They do so much for the content creators and the podcasters, the live streamers, and all of that by putting their content out there. And then we in turn are able to take that and use that. So yeah, Terry says, me too. I'm loving it. And I do want to make another comment about those guys and gals out there who put the videos together for us that we can go and take and use on our shows. I did see a post from Maisie Moore today about someone using some of the content right off the bat, less than an hour after it was posted or put out there. You got to give these people kudos. You got to give them a shout out when you use their content, because that's the right thing to do. Okay. I don't always remember to do it, but that's why I kind of like to mention Maisie Moore, the Western Lensman, RNC Research. Any of you, if I've used your content and have forgotten to give you a shout out, I'm doing it now. You know who you are, and we try to keep that, keep that on the up and up, because you need to have credit for this, because you're putting it out there for us on this platform consistently, helping our movement and our cause. And that's really important to all of us who are like-minded and follow each other. We're a giant community. We're not followers. We're friends. And I think that we all need to start looking at it that way. And maybe Elon, if someone could send him a message or he's listening, change that from followers up there on our dashboard or whatever you want to call it to where it says friends. So I don't know. People are still celebrating that I can't talk, Lou. I got to hear her voice. We spoke on the phone. I think it was last week, Terry. And I don't know if we even talked about this in depth, but she's like, you can call me, but don't you laugh at me. And as soon as she picked up the phone, I was already laughing, but I wasn't laughing. I was only laughing because she told me not to laugh. And, yeah. And then I called her Froggy. So that Froggy from the Little Rascals. If you're not old enough to know the Little Rascals, the original black and white Little Rascals. Yeah.
I got a Froggy.
But anyway, to all of you people out there on X who are following me, I really appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your engagement. Please keep it up. And anything I can do to help any of you, let me know. And we'll definitely do what we can. We can give you a shout out on the show. You can, if you want to come on the show and you have something specific you want to talk about, we could do something like that. There's a lot of great content out there, a lot of great people. Some people aren't meant, or maybe they just don't feel comfortable coming on to a live show. You don't have to show your face. You can still come on and just do your audio. But yeah, got a lot of great new friends on X, and I'm really excited about it. And I really appreciate each and every one of you. A lot of them are friends that I've met through Terry and other people, and just a great community, a great group. So thanks to all of you. And for all of you that are out there, if you haven't downloaded Rumble, that's our home channel. Please go there. If you're watching us on X and you don't have the Rumble app, it really does help us. More so if you can come over to the Rumble side and during our live streams, but come over to Rumble, download the app to any device, your phone, your TV, your computer. It'll go anywhere, and it's free. It costs you nothing, and it's a free speech platform, more importantly. Come over and look for the Lose Views podcast and give us a like. Hit that thumbs up. And for all you listening tonight, please take the time to do that. It's really important. It does help us. Follow, subscribe. Subscription's free. Just get on there, and a subscribe is just following us. Hit that notification button and share it with all your friends, and even some of your liberal friends if you're on X or any other platform. Spread the word about us. If you like the content, you like the show, we'd love to have more of you in here. So spread it around. Let's grow and do what we need to do. But I appreciate all of that. But yeah, go to Rumble. We do stream live to CommuTube, but I think we only get like one viewer from over there. And we're not really concerned about it because this is our home right here at Rumble and X and Truth Social. As soon as I'm able to go live on Truth Social, I will, but it's only for Android right now, not for iOS. So I'm still waiting to be able to do that. But anyway, thank each and every one of you again. Please subscribe. Please go find us, and please follow us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night at 7 p.m. Central and 8 p.m. Eastern. And join us in the live chat. We'd love to have each and every one of you. So, all right. Gina, you have anything you want to say before I put the ribbon and the bow and all that nice stuff on this?
No, that was a great show.
Cool. Oh, and by the way, for those of you on X, because that's the only place I put it, let me know in the comments, or, post it. Get back to me. Let me know what you think about the Christmas videos that I'm putting out. I'm very interested in knowing what people think about those. I have several different ones that I'm putting out, and that's for your enjoyment, to let you know that we're thinking about you and hoping that you and your family have a Merry Christmas and hopefully a great and Happy New Year. So, all right, everyone. Thank each and every one of you for joining us in the chat. I'm looking over here really quick. It doesn't look like we're missing anything, so I think we pretty much covered it. But anyway, 17 George, Sean, Karen, Heart of a Dancer. Looks like we got all kinds of people in here. But thank you all for watching and joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the show. Again, if you did, please let your friends know and bring more with you. We'd love to have you all. So take care.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah. And angels on your pillow. I'm going to say that before Karen beats me to it.
I love when she says that.
I know. Karen, you got to say that before I call it. Angels on there.
There it is.
Thank you.
Angels on your pillows, rebels.
God bless you, Karen. We love you. We love all of you guys and gals. So God bless each and every one of you, and God bless this great republic we call the United States of America. Take care. Good night, my friends.
You've been listening to Lose Views, where woke ideology gets destroyed. If you too are tired of the woke mob telling you how to think and live, then visit our website at loseviewspodcast.com. Start following Lou on X at Lou's Show, and watch the Lose Views podcast on Rumble. Thanks for listening to Lose Views.
Government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.